So it's normal to feel this way. It's normal to want to quit. This feeling is instinctive, and usually it points to a desire to want to change your current circumstances. So let me show you a drawing this trader shared with me so that you can understand his pathway and hopefully relate. So if we look at it, this trader's been trading for 3 years. He started during COVID, like I said, 23 years old. And we can see in that first year, he started with a relatively small trading account. So roughly $1,000 trading account, okay? Grew that in his first year to around $2,500. So a really slow, steady grind higher. 2021 came, and you can see that he had that sort of exponential growth in 2021 to 2022. And he wrote there that the reason he believes he had this growth was because of consistency, planning and preparing, and only taking his A-plus trade setups that he felt confident on. So we can see that in the first year, he's learning the game. In the first year, he's kind of paying his dues, exposing himself to different scenarios in the markets. In the second year, that understanding gets rewarded. That progression that he developed in year one starts to get rewarded with dollars. Okay, and we see that account move from $2,500 all the way up to $50,000. Okay, remarkable growth and a wonderful, wonderful exponential growth in year two. We then get to sort of midway in 2022, and one stupid mistake. Thought he was clever, started playing around with more complex instruments. So effectively stopped doing what he believed made him money and started sort of wandering into other markets, thinking he can obviously, profit in those markets as well. Okay. As the equity curve comes down as a result of that stupid mistake, there's a natural, instinctive psychological response, which is to want to make it back quickly. Okay, and what typically happens, we over leverage. When we over leverage, we often get it wrong again. We suddenly start to overtrade. We start to get emotional, and you can see the result is the equity curve drops all the way back down to the original 1,000. Okay, but what was really, really key, and the key sort of part I really loved about what this trader was sharing with me was what he says. Is that there was no risk management and there was no planning. In other words, the real key highlight in this entire sort of image is this, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on, which is typically what happens with traders when they hit this sort of, wall of doubt and wall of worry. One of the key commonalities is that they stop doing the thing that worked for them in the first place, and you see this amongst all traders wanting to quit. They've kind of given up on that process that allowed them to find consistency in the first place. Okay, and that's very, very common. And what's really key, and this is what this entire session about, is when you are thinking about quitting, you cannot look at the equity curve as the key determinant because it will send a false signal. Okay, remember, an equity curve is just a byproduct of the decisions you take. At the end of the day, in order to determine whether or not it's time for you to quit, it has to come as a direct result of how much are you progressing. So what I would have liked to have seen this trader do is I would have liked for him to draw for me and add on to this what he believes his progression curves look like, because I suspect it's something like that. Now, yes, when you stop doing the things that work for you, your progression does flatline. But I can tell you right now, and this was the advice I said to this trader, was if you just re-implement those things that work, you're going to start to see this move higher. You're going to start to understand things. They're going to start to work again, and your progression will then naturally continue northward. The direct result with a lag effect will be this equity curve will start to rise again. What I want you to understand is that a fantastic exercise for you to all go and do is go and draw out this equity curve. Okay, go draw out your equity curve over the years and annotate it like this, because it's a wonderful exercise, but it's also something that you're going to come back to at some point in the future. Okay, really try and understand what led to all the different sort of directional trends within your equity curve. Okay, but more importantly, I also want you to go and add what you believe is your progression curve, because this is vital for that moment where you feel like, you know what, I'm not sure about this anymore. Because like I said, progression is the determinant whether or not you should be doing this or not the P&L curve.